Welcome everyone to Half History Will Travel. I am your host, the Wilder Historian, and I traveled to Kennesaw Mountain in 2020 and was amazed at the battlefield, especially the dead angle. If you have not got a chance to check out that battlefield, the National Park Service does a great job of interpreting the battle. Because I received a new appreciation for the battle by walking on that hallowed ground, I wanted to give you all two first-hand accounts from the battle. Both of them are Confederate accounts. I will put up two Union accounts in the near future. Enjoy. At the time I am writing, there is a terrible fighting going on. The cannonading is awful heavy. Would you have an idea of present moments fighting even while I write? Suppose that for every 3 seconds, quick sharp peals of thunder mingled with the hoarse mutterings of reverberation and thousands of peals sharp and quick, you will have a faint impression of the commotion produced by the fire of cannons and small arms now going on. We are not scared. All we soldiers dread is the burying of some of our comrades. We all feel for each other. Parents may disown, sisters may forget, yes, some wives may in time lose their image of their husband from their memory. But brother soldiers will dig their graves, wrap their martial blanket around them, and softly placing them in it, drop the soldier's tear over him, bid his sleeping dust goodbye. It is a touching scene. Nanny, to see soldiers bury their brothers in arms. Probably the one killed has been neglected, yea, almost forgotten by those whom he has left behind, who should have been true to life's latest day. What a thought, poor soldier given his life for liberty, his bones bleached on some lone hilltop or molder in some deep ravine, where when this war is past, no foot will scarcely if ever tread. To fade so soon from the memory of those whom they have been faithful, God have mercy upon us all. May we all, by the aid of the Holy Spirit, judge correctly between right and wrong with our fellow men, and having done that, may we firmly walk therein, never deviating from the right to please any or to gain their favor. The weather is fine. We have had no rain in several days. We get plenty to eat and the army is generally healthy. I myself am well. The company is in good condition. We have had one man wounded yesterday. He was shot through the foot. You have heard of the boys who were wounded in Captain Taylor's company and who were killed. Johnny Matthews, Jim Andrews, John H. Short, I.P. Benson, Jefferson Bradshaw, and Lanier. You will find out from Nelson Williams and Jimmy McMichael who I learn have gone home. Nanny, I wish you to write me exactly how you are getting along in every respect. If there is anything wrong in any way not agreeable with your feelings, do not be cast down, only dealing justly and the world will commend you. God bless us and save us in heaven. Your devoted husband, William J. Short. Captain James Hall of the 9th Tennessee Infantry gave a graphic account of the fighting there. 27th of June. On this day, General Sherman assaulted our lines with a heavy force in several places. The most furious assault was made on that part of the line which happened to be occupied by our brigade, Maney's. The nature of the ground in our front was such as to give the enemy the opportunity of forming their line of battle within 100 yards of our works, entirely out of our sight. Here, General Sherman had concentrated a whole corps and had formed them in 5 lines, one immediately behind the other. We were not expecting the attack, and the part of the works held by Colonel Field's regiment of our brigade, the 1st Tennessee, immediately on our right, was inefficiently manned, from the fact that Colonel Field, not expecting an attack, had allowed a number of his men to go to the rear of the breastworks during the heat of the engagement, so that we had the double duty of keeping off the enemy and changing our position at the same time. It was an extremely hot day, and the fight lasted from 11 o'clock a.m. until noon. The ground in front of us was literally blue with Yankees. Their advance column reached our breastworks and planted their flag on them. But the resistance of our men was so determined that they did not dare to come over. Only the breastworks divided the two armies. We had the advantage of having a headlog on our side of the works, and the enemy were crowded so thickly that a shot from our men could not fail to hit somebody. I remember that when I was trying to push my company as rapidly as possible to the right, I noticed one man, Jim Goforth, who had just finished loading his gun, suddenly halt and raise his gun to his shoulder, thereby obstructing our movement to the right. I called to him to move forward. His reply was, "Just wait, Captain, till I kill this Yankee." He immediately fired across the breastworks and turning to me with "I got him," resumed his march. To show how hot the place was and how incessant the firing, one of my men brought his gun to me, choked and rendered useless by melted lead. The thin shaving of lead parred off from the minie-ball from the grooves of our rifles when melted ran down into the tubes of the gun when held in an upright position. To prevent this, I ordered the men to reverse their guns after firing so that the lead might run out of the muzzle. When they did this, I saw small round pellets of melted lead poured out of their gun barrels on the ground. After the fight had gone this way for some time, a terrific cannonade of shell and grape was opened upon the 3 rear columns of the enemy from one of our batteries stationed on our left in such a position that their fire enfiladed the enemy lines. All this was more than they could stand. After a fierce assault on our lines, which lasted about an hour, they gave up the attack and retired to their sheltered position under the hill in our front. I remember that when I looked at my watch after the battle was over and found that we had been fighting an hour, I was greatly surprised at the length of time. We had been kept so busy that the time seemed shorter. I have mentioned that the Yankees had planted their colors on our works, notwithstanding a desperate effort on our part of our men to capture these, in which 3 men lost their lives. They were carried away safely by the retreating enemy, but at a great cost of life to them. After the enemy had retired and we could survey the ground in our front, which they had just occupied, a frightful and disgusting scene of death and destruction was presented to our view. During all the 4 years of the war, I do not remember ever to have seen the ground so completely strewn with dead bodies. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stay tuned for future episodes, and I'll see you next time.